Welcome. Welcome to my kitchen in Michigan on a rainy May day. And it's cool here too. I'm Annabel Cohen. I'm a chef, I'm a cooking instructor, I'm a caterer, and I'm a food writer. So I've written lots of stuff about food and I love to cook. I'm multinational. My parents are Brazilian. My grandparents some were from Turkey. The others were from Poland. I've traveled around the world and I love, as you can see, I love to eat and I love to cook and I love to talk to different people. So we're going to do a few different things today. I think you have the recipes, and we're talking about salads, which is anything can be a salad. Basically, if you serve it cold, it's a salad. Even it can be beef stroganoff, and if you serve it with noodles and a little bit of vinegar, suddenly it's a salad. So, but we're going to focus on a few different kinds of salads. And the first one is gazpacho. And gazpacho is basically a salad in a bowl or a cup. And it's lots of fresh vegetables. And I'm going to move you over here so you can see all my beautiful fresh vegetables that are going into the gazpacho. And I've prepped some of them ahead of time because we really have a very short time to cook, although this doesn't take very long. Feel free to interrupt with questions. Okay, we're going to move you over here to my food processor because this is where it all sort of happens. I have my food processor right here, and I'm going to add different ingredients. Some people will take all of the ingredients and put them together into the food processor, but because when you mix these all together, it looks sort of milky, and I like it to look very red and tomato-like. Again, this is a chunky gazpacho, and it's like a salad in a glass. Gazpacho can be made 1,000 different ways, maybe even more than that. I mean, there's so many influences in Spain. The Ottomans were there for 700 years. The Romans were there. People were from all over. There's a Jewish version, and some people say the word pa, the P-A in gazpacho means bread. And the simplest form of gazpacho really is bread, olive oil, and garlic. And you can still find some of those. And a lot of gazpachos in Spain actually have bread in them. We don't usually use a lot of bread in the gazpachos you find in different restaurants. Sometimes people will put croutons on top because we want to make it more pure, more just pure vegetables. So I have my recipe here. I don't usually follow recipes, but I'm going to follow it along with you. And we're going to start with cucumber. I use the English cucumber. You can use any cucumber, but the English cucumber or the seedless one has a very, very thin skin. So that makes it not hard to chew. And even though we're chopping it all up, you can, if you want, peel the cucumber, but I don't. And this is, they say it's seedless, even though there are seeds in it, but there aren't a lot. And we need that liquid. In fact, we're going to add more liquid in this to make the soup more liquid. And you can do it to your favorite consistency. When you're cooking, you can put anything you want in it. If you don't like cucumber, leave it out. I remember seeing a movie, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, which is a Spanish film from about 25 years ago. And the gazpacho plays prominently in this film. And the way they make their gazpacho is like they put it in a blender. So it's very, very much of a liquid. I like mine chunky, so that's how I'm going to make it today. Here in my food processor, I'm putting my cucumber in, and you're going to hear some noise, so you'll have to excuse me. And just process it as much as you want. And I have some ingredients in here, but you can put other ingredients as well. You can do anything you want. I'm transferring it to a bowl. I'm using my hands. It's the best way. I'm not wearing gloves. Feel free to wear gloves if you like to, if you feel funny about it. Bell pepper. I like the different colors of bell pepper. Some people can't eat green pepper, so they prefer to use a colored red, orange, or yellow pepper. I'm using yellow, it's because it's pretty. And this is a sweet bell pepper. This is considered an Italian bell pepper. I've removed the seeds out of it. Again, here's my bell pepper, and I'm adding it to my cucumber. I don't have to clean it every single time because all these ingredients are getting mixed together as well. Tomatoes. I said plum tomatoes in my recipe there, but you can use any tomatoes. I like these tomatoes on the vine. I'm going to use about 4 of them because they're a little bit bigger than a plum tomato. The recipes here are we're not baking. When you're baking, you have to be super precise. But when you're cooking, you can do things to taste. And here's the reason why. Many times my lemon juice may be more lemony than yours, or my vinegar may be a different brand. I'm not cutting off the top here because you won't see it when it's all blended in here where the stem goes. Okay. Now I can see right now, these tomatoes are not super juicy. This is not really tomato season, although it's somewhere in the world it's tomato season. These are tomatoes on the vine, but somehow they're not super, super juicy. That's why I have to add more liquid to them. I'm using 4 of them, putting my lid back on. Okay. You can see here the tomatoes are what looks sort of milky right now. See how they're not super, super red? I'm adding this to my bowl here. And a little bit of onion. This is the main, these are the main ingredients. This is red onion or Bermuda onion. Interestingly, most of the onions that we eat are grown in Texas, where they were once maybe from Bermuda, now they're from Texas. Okay. Now, so far I've added all of our different ingredients, and I'm going to stir them together. You can see how gorgeous this already looks, beautiful color. If I had done it all together, I might not have the division of beautiful colors here. Some of my tomatoes didn't chop. I'm gonna stick them in again and give them a little further chop. I'm trying not to use the food processor too much because it's so noisy. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can certainly chop all this up by hand. It just takes a lot longer. Okay. So now I need to flavor my gazpacho. But I can see my gazpacho right now is not soupy enough. Right now it looks like salsa. And basically it is sort of a salsa if you eat it this way, if you add all the other ingredients. So I'm gonna add some tomato sauce or tomato juice. And this will give me a nice tomato flavor. This is about 1.5 cups that I'm putting in here because I can see it needs it. But right now it's, even though it's beautiful in color and texture and all of that, it's flavorless other than the fresh vegetables. So I'm gonna add some cilantro. Some people don't like cilantro. They think it tastes like soap. Leave it out. Put in dill, put in parsley, put in fresh basil. You can put in anything you want. And I'm gonna add a little bit of vinegar, some red wine vinegar, and some extra virgin olive oil. If you wanna make this completely fat-free, leave the olive oil out. But I really feel it gives a really nice flavor. And then I'm gonna add some fresh lemon juice. And I've got more lemons here, so I can make this as lemony as I like. Okay. And this is a wonderful little tool if you don't have one at home. It's a lemon juicer. I'm gonna show you how it works. Basically, I'm gonna go off camera for a second just to cut my lemon in half. And I have a lime version of this too, which is a little bit smaller and it's green. You put the lemon in, you put it upside down. You don't put it in this way, which you think you would because of the way the little bowl is shaped. You put it in sort of upside down. And I think you can see this. I'm going to squeeze the lemon juice right into the gazpacho here. Just a little aside here. What I do, I hate to throw things away. What I do is I cut up this lemon peel, just the yellow part. I don't want this white pithy part. The pith, it's called the pith, the white part. I always say it pisses me off because it's got a bitter taste. But you take just the yellow part and you can grind it in the food processor, or you can use a microplane and get lemon zest. And you can keep this in your freezer in a little Ziploc bag or a little container and always have fresh lemon zest to make it taste even lemonier. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients in here. And basically all I've got to do here is adjust the seasonings to taste. And this, I say this all the time because, again, my vinegar may be different tasting than yours. My salt may be saltier. It's really, you have to be very, very involved in your cooking. I once read a cookbook review that went something like this. Anybody who makes a recipe the way it's written gets what they deserve. And I think that's often true. We use the recipes as a guide and then we go from there. We can always add more ingredients, but we can't take anything away once it's in here. But I think my gazpacho is done and I think it looks great. You can add garlic to yours. You can add roasted corn or anything you want, peas, whatever you feel like adding. I'm gonna add avocado to mine because I love avocado and I think it looks beautiful. So I took my avocado and I scored it all the way around with my knife and I give it a little twist. And what I have here is I'm going off camera for a second. What I have here is the avocado and I'm just gonna use a spoon and I'm going to scoop it out just all along the edge. That way my avocado looks beautiful, as you can see. I'm going to move it over to the cutting board because I'm going to show you how we serve the gazpacho. Now, if you want to add vodka to this, that's good too. You can serve it in a bowl or a wine glass, anything you want. Here's my gazpacho. And I'm going to add some of this beautiful avocado. I'm going to slice a little bit off camera here. And you add the avocado sort of at the last minute. And you've got just a gorgeous, gorgeous bowl of soup. Serve it chilled. It lasts several days in the refrigerator. Maybe after 4 days, you may not want to eat it. The tomato may turn a little bit, and you're ready to go. Do I have any questions? Nope, no questions at this point. I'm going to taste it just to make sure I like it. Delish. It almost makes this rainy summer, this rainy May day seem more like July. And July is when the tomatoes are the best. I'm going to move you over here. Make another salad here. We're going to make an Asian salad. And many times we think of an Asian salad as sweet, sort of sweet and sour. We like sweet foods, and it's not unusual for Asian foods to have sweetness to them. You know, Asian foods can be, they have sort of 5 flavors that are very important in Asian cooking, and they're salty, spicy, sour, sweet, and bitter. A lot of the ingredients in Asian cooking, soy sauce, salty, ginger is sort of sour. Juices of citrus are also sour. And there are lots of other flavors as well. But when we think in the United States of an Asian salad of some sort, we think of it as sort of sweet and sour. So we're going to start with romaine lettuce. Move my stuff over here. And romaine lettuce in this salad isn't mixed in, it's a base. And I'm shredding it. I have my nice head of romaine here, and I'm shredding it, all the good parts, as much as you want. So basically this salad is going to be sort of a chicken salad, although if you don't want to put chicken in it, you don't have to. You can put any other protein that you want over a bed of shredded lettuce. So we're going to start with the dressing here. We're going to go a little bit backwards, and we're going to make the dressing quickly, which starts with soy sauce. There's our salty. And again, to taste, my Kikkoman may be a different saltiness from your La Choy soy sauce. So you have to really keep tasting these to go along. That's our salty. Here's our sweet, some sugar. And this dressing, we're making it for this salad, but it's really a one sauce fits all. You can use it as a marinade. You can put it in just regular coleslaw. Okay, sweet, salty. Here's our sour, which is vinegar. You can use rice vinegar, red wine vinegar, white vinegar, cider vinegar. It doesn't really matter so much. I'm using a regular vegetable oil. Oil makes the dressing stick to the salad. And what's we don't want a lot of flavor. We want it to be sort of a neutral oil. So I'm using a vegetable oil. You can use olive oil, but don't use extra virgin olive oil. It's too salty. Let's see here, some lime juice. Here, I've got some lime juice. And I've got a little bit of sesame oil, which gives a wonderful sesame flavor. And I have a little bit of hot pepper sauce. Now, I buy hot pepper sauce by the gallon, so I really use it a lot. But I put it in a little squeezy bottle here, so I always have it available, and I can adjust the strength of my dressing without having to open jars and constantly be touching a lot of things. And I have some minced ginger root. I went to the market today, and this was kind of an odd time. I didn't have ginger root at the supermarket, but what I have in my house is something I buy. I love Asian markets. Is a minced ginger. It's almost a puree, and it comes in a jar. And so I'm just using that instead, and I'm using it to taste. So right now I'm adding this amount, but I can always add more. Now I'm going to sort of.
We have another
yes.
question for you, okay?
Sure.
What are your favorite vegetable oils, and is canola oil all right to use? Oh,
canola oil is good. Vegetable oil, peanut oil, any of the oils, as long as they're not super flavorful. You could use Mazola. It doesn't matter. You can use any
And
oil that you have around the house.
can I use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's the beauty of making it yourself. You don't have to, you're not at the mercy of someone else's ingredients. Okay, so I whisked this together. I could also put it in a jar and give it a good shake. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to my salad. My salad now has several ingredients in it. Put this up to the side, my dressing. Okay. Now I didn't, at this point, I didn't add any salt or pepper to the dressing. I've got that sesame, that soy sauce that is super, super salty. You could also use gluten-free soy sauce, which is available a lot of places now. Okay, back to my ingredients. We have the shredded lettuce already. Roasted cashews. I bought these at Trader Joe's. They're like my favorite snack. They're cashews that have sesame seeds all over them. They're so, so delicious. And they're sweetened. They're sort of honey sweetened. So I'm putting these in my bowl. And I'm adding, again, at my market today, I went to the local market. I'm not going to any specialties right these days. There were no pea pods, but one of spring's favorite vegetables, sugar snap peas, were there. And what I did is I cut them on an angle into sort of shredded pieces here. And I love the little peas inside escaping the pods. I think they're really pretty. The salad also has cilantro in it. Again, if you don't like cilantro, leave it out. It's not necessary. And we have some scallions. So I'm putting scallions, white and green parts, and I just sort of chop them up, as many as you want. I love them. And then you could add other ingredients if you want. I love celery. I think it's really crunchy. You could add bok choy, you could add corn, you can add anything you want to the salad, shredded carrots, it's all good. And then I have on here mandarin oranges. And you can see I actually own mandarin oranges. I have a can of mandarin oranges here. But this is spring, and the spring in the US has the most delicious produce, including strawberries. Now these aren't Michigan strawberries. Michigan strawberries don't come out until a little later, but now these strawberries are a gorgeous color, and they're not too sweet. They're sort of tart, and they'll give the salad a beautiful color and flavor. Okay, now what I'm doing here is, you can see with these ingredients, I don't even have chicken in here yet. There's no chicken in here. However, so right now it's a vegetarian salad. Now I can just add my dressing, but I took some chicken and I boiled it. I just boiled the chicken and I shred it with my fingers, and I'm putting it in here. If you're making a lot of this, which nobody's making a lot of anything because catering is pretty much over for the year, you can put this, if you have a lot of it, into the bowl of a mixer, like a KitchenAid mixer, and put the paddle in, I think it's called the paddle, and just mix it, and that'll break up all the chicken as well. But look at this. I want you to look at this gorgeous, and look at the quantity of salad that we have here. This is one recipe. Okay, so I'm gonna take my salad dressing, which I've whisked or shaken together, and I'm gonna pour it over. And I'm gonna put all of it over because I didn't make that much. I only made enough for this one recipe. And I'm gonna toss it. And we want it to be sort of dressed up because it's going over the salad that has the shredded romaine, which has no dressing on it at all. And you can look at my beautiful, beautiful salad with my sesame cashews in here. So basically, I'm gonna take my salad and I'm gonna put it on top of my romaine greens. I like lots of it. And now I've got all different textures. I've got crunchiness here. I've got sweetness. I've got softness in it. I've got all the different things. I'm gonna take some of these Chinese noodles. You buy them in a can. And I'm just gonna put some on top of this here. Not too many, as many as you like, or leave them off altogether. And I've got this beautiful, beautiful salad. Now I served it on romaine. I could very easily have served it on spinach or mixed baby greens, or had no lettuce at all. Just served it as a chicken salad. I think you'll agree it looks really yummy. I'm gonna taste it because I have to taste everything to make sure I did a good job. Now, before I served it, I might have tasted it to make sure it was sweet and salty and all the flavors I like. So good. Dinner is served for me tonight. Okay. Do I have any questions about the Asian salad? You're gonna be chewing in your ear.
We have a couple questions. So is the jar of minced ginger stronger than fresh?
No, it's not stronger. But if you like, you can put a little bit in and taste it and add more if you like, more to taste.
Okay, and then we have, how about uncooked ramen instead of canned noodles?
You can't use uncooked ramen, but you could take that ramen, which comes with a little flavor packet, throw away the flavor packet or use it for something else. But take that ramen and break it up with your hands or sort of pound on the package and put the ramen in on a baking sheet and bake it at 350 for about 10, 12 minutes so it's nice and toasty. But don't use the uncooked.
And what kind of hot peppers were in the sauce?
This is Tabasco sauce. So whatever's in Tabasco sauce is in here, but use your favorite. There are green hot sauces. If you want, you could even use fresh jalapenos in your salad. The problem with the fresh jalapeno, especially with girls' night in, girls don't like to bite oftentimes into a piece of jalapeno. I love hot foods. The hotter, the better. So use whatever sauce you want. Again, you're making it yourself. These recipes are a guide. You can change them up. You can do anything you want with them and put your favorite ingredients in them.
No more questions, but you have a numerous amount of how amazing it looks, how wonderful it looks, and how
Yay!
hungry they all are now.
I know. I wish you were in my real classes because we'd all be eating.
How'd you cook the chicken and there are two more now. How'd you cook the chicken and do you use sriracha sauce?
You could use sriracha sauce. It's hot. It's delicious. It's one of my favorite sauces. The chicken I just boiled, but it can be any chicken. You can go buy a rotisserie chicken at the supermarket and use some of that chicken. It just has to be cooked. And it can be chopped. I shredded it. I like that texture. And I like how it looks in the salad. But you can do it any way you want. And I use strawberries. You saw I had mandarin oranges, but I could use blueberries in this salad, or I could use pineapple. Anything you want to put in it. All your favorite foods. You could put in coconut. Shredded coconut would be delicious. Mango. Any other questions before we go on? Okay, we're going to go on. Now we're making a different kind of a salad. We're doing a pasta salad. Pasta salads are great. They stretch all your ingredients. And you could use gluten-free pasta if you want. I happen to be using a regular pasta called penne. Penne means like what it sounds like, a pen. Because in the old days, in Italy and everywhere in the world, people used to write with a quill. And if you can see, it looks like the end of a quill. So that's why this is called penne. But you can use any pasta that you want. This is 12 ounces, which is not a whole box. It's 3/4 of a pound. Again, pasta goes a really, really long way. And I'm adding my favorite ingredients to this as well. Shrimp. This is frozen shrimp, already cooked that I bought, but I could easily buy raw shrimp and broil it in the oven or grill it. And or you could add anything you want. It could be chicken. It could be tofu. It can be tempeh. It could be cooked Impossible burger. It can be anything you want to make it vegetarian. But here it is I've added it to my salad. This is 1 pound. Now these shrimp are pretty big, so they're probably about 20 shrimp to a pound cooked. And I'm adding to this some red onion. We talked about onions before. And I'm going to show you a little something about onions, by the way. This is my onion that I use for something else, for a different dressing. But you notice there's lots of little hairs on the bottom of the onion. That means this onion is made in America. It's grown in America. There are very strict rules for importing vegetables from other countries, and lots of other countries grow onions. But one of the rules for many countries is that this part has to be sort of shaved. These little hairs can have all kinds of little bugs and things in them. I'm calling them hairs, but they're really little roots. And so this one has the little hairs still attached, which means it's from the US. It doesn't have the same stringent rules about transporting them. Okay, so now we have, I'm going to read my own recipe. I seldom read recipes, but I'm doing them. So I have the pasta that I've cooked al dente. What does that mean? It means it's still really chewy. Especially pasta salads, people eat them over several days. If it's too mushy to begin with, which I don't like mushy food, it's a personal preference. If it's too mushy and you put salad dressings on it, it's going to get mushier and mushier. And it's just not something that I like, but you make that pasta the way you like it. Okay, I'm going to add some the olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And I've got the amount here. but I'm just going to add it in. Basically, what I'm saying to do here is to, do I tell you to do that? No, I don't. I just say, just mix it all together. Okay. Sometimes I don't mix the dressings. I just sort of put them already into the salads. And I'm adding to this, I'm going to go down the way here, some chopped celery. And if you've noticed in my celery, I've got lots of leaves in here. These, you know, the leaves at the top of the celery. A lot of people throw that out, and I'm always in shock because the leaves have even more flavor than the stalk itself. And I find that they're very pretty. So I use every part. I don't throw anything away. I don't like to waste anything.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Annabelle, can you tilt your
Yes.
camera forward just a little so we can see the bowl?
Yeah, absolutely.
There
Can
we
you see
go.
it?
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I got the celery in here. I put the red Bermuda onion already, and I have some chopped pepper. I use that orange pepper, but you can use any color you want. I said red there, but basically I'm trying to tell you not to use a green pepper. And some dill, fresh dill. This shrimp and dill, seafood and dill goes really, really well together. I know I say here a half a cup, but I also say or more. I'm from the or more school. I like to have a lot of the aromatics. And when we talk about aromatics, we're talking about herbs. And the aromatic herbs are the cilantros, the dills, the basils. All of those, I'm going to turn this over this way so we have more space. Actually, I'm going to turn this way. Okay. So the aromatics, which are the basils and all of those, they are, they give such wonderful, bright flavors to the food. Now, if you notice here, I've got stems in my dill. Why do I have stems? Because all those soft herbs, basil, dill, cilantro, the stems of the herbs have a lot of flavor, and people throw them out. Parsley, and I'm always so surprised when people throw them out. Just chop them smaller. As long as they look good, they're delicious in your salads. Now, rosemary or tarragon's soft, but rosemary or oregano or thyme, they have woody stems. They look like bark, and those stems are too rough to eat, so you have to just eat the leaves. But the soft ones, dill, parsley, basil, tarragon, cilantro, you can eat the stems. And in fact, the stems, like I said, have more flavor than the leaf itself. Okay. Dill, sour cream. You know what? I'm using yogurt. I've got plenty of sour cream in the house, but I have decided to use yogurt in my salad. So I'm using Greek yogurt. Look how thick it is. It has a similar consistency to sour cream, but it's a more tart in flavor. And tart is one of my favorite flavors. I'm using mayonnaise. Use your favorite mayonnaise. It could be avocado mayonnaise. It can be olive oil mayonnaise. It can be Dijonnaise. It can even be Dijonnaise. Dijon would be delicious in here. And I have the olive oil, and I'm going to add salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to start lightly because it looks like a lot of pepper, but it's not as much as it looks. I'm going to start light because I can always add more. And ingredients like mayonnaise already has salt in it. It's got vinegar in it. It's got different ingredients. So now I have my salad here. I'm going to transfer it, I think, I'm going to do it right in here. I'm going to use a tong or my hands. Often, if you weren't here, I would totally use my hands. And I'm going to stir it. In fact, I'm going to use my hands anyway because of my own clean hands. I don't put food in my mouth. I don't eat while with my fingers while I cook. My hands never go toward my mouth. And I'm going to mix this up.
They want to know if you're inviting them over tonight.
I want you all to come over.
And a recommendation for extra virgin olive oil type.
Can I tell you something? This is really interesting. Olive oil is really, you can pay for a quart of olive oil, you can pay $100 or you could pay $10. It's really, olive oil is one of those ingredients that really does matter when it comes to origins and different olive oils. And if you look at your olive oil container, you'll see that some olive oils, there's not enough olives in the world to make all the olive oil that the world wants. The biggest olive oil grower is Spain. Spain is bigger than Italy. Italy's the next one. And there's Greece. Those are the three biggies of the olive oil. Oftentimes, companies will mix all three of them. So really, whatever tastes good to you, they say Kirkland from Costco, believe it or not, is a good olive oil. I use Filippo Berrio. I think it's delicious. It's never done me wrong. but use whatever olive oil you want. It's the better the olive oil, the better your results. Okay, I want you to look at my beautiful pasta salad. This is a lot of pasta. If I were to sell this in my catering, which would feed probably 8 to 10 people, I'd sell it for a lot of money. It's expensive. We have beautiful big shrimp. You know what I'm going to add to this? I'm going to add that avocado, the other bit of avocado here. It'll be yummy too. This would be expensive to make, to sell, to buy already made. But the biggest ingredient in here, the most quantity, is your shrimp, which you can basically buy for less than $20 a pound. And the pasta, which is $1. If you've got 12 ounces of pasta in here, you could use other kinds of pasta if you want, all different shapes. And you could use fresh pasta in here if you want as well. But this is a salad. And you know what I'm going to add to this? I'm going to add some more lemon juice because I really, really love lemon juice with this. Okay. I'm not even going to taste it, but I know it's going to need lemon juice. So I'm going to add some fresh lemon juice to this. I've already got the yogurt, which is yogurt, as we know, is really sour. Some fresh lemon juice to finish it off. And I've got a beautiful pasta salad. Do we have any questions before we go on? I'm going to put it in a bowl. Okay. Now this could be served over greens as well. Over pretty field mixed greens. But here's what I have in here. I've got sort of mushy soft pasta. I've got the sort of a tender crisp shrimp. I've got the crunchy celery in here. I've got the aromatics of the dill, and I have a tart lemon juice in here. And I want you to look at my salad. Isn't this beautiful? Couldn't you serve this at any luncheon?
Question is, would you chill it before serving it?
I can serve it right now because the shrimp was already chilled and the pasta was not hot. But you can serve it at room temperature or you can serve it cold. I wouldn't serve it warm because it's got yogurt in it, although you can serve yogurt things warm. I think it's a salad. I tend to think of salads as mostly cold. Do I have any questions? How are we doing on time? Oh, we're almost done. Good. We're almost done with our recipes as well. Any other questions before we go on?
Not right now.
I want to tell you that the ginger I bought was from an Indian market. If you have one near you, if you're from Michigan, there's one at 13 in Orchard Lake. And there you can buy your ginger. Okay, the next thing we're going to make is my favorite thing in the world. And I realized I was going to sushi restaurants almost entirely to eat their salads because I love that salad with that orange dressing. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me before I looked it up and figured it out, that orange comes from carrots. And what's wonderful about that carrot ginger dressing that you have at the Asian restaurants that you always want more of is that there's no oil in it at all. And so I already made it because it's very loud. It's very loud when you make it. It takes a while to chop up those carrots. But I have a carrot in my hand here, which is about half a pound. I buy these from a wholesaler, and they are organic carrots, but they're huge. Look at the size of this carrot. I don't know if you can tell how big it is. Who needs a man? I'm kidding. Anyway, so I cut this up in carrots into circles, and I put it in the food processor. And basically, the carrots are the thing that need to be mushed up the most. They need to be chopped up the most. So I'm not going to put a lot of other stuff in there with the carrots. I'm going to basically put the carrots and the ginger. Again, I used that ginger that came in the jar. Remember, I couldn't find any. And some rice wine vinegar. If you can't find rice wine vinegar, use any vinegar, white vinegar, cider vinegar, any vinegar you want. And some soy sauce and some sugar. It needs to be sweet. And just some salt and pepper to taste. I use kosher salt, but you can use pretty much anything you want. This is my 8-ounce carrot, which I chopped up into rounds. And I added a half cup of a yellow onion. This is my original onion. It's sort of large. You're looking at the dark side of the moon here. It's a large onion. It's pretty big. So I took just a piece of it. And is it a half cup? I don't know. Who cares? Doesn't matter because we're cooking. We're not baking. just put the onion in to taste. You can always add more onion. So I put that onion in, and the ginger, which I got from a jar. And this recipe here calls for olive oil, for vegetable oil. I didn't put it in. You can put it in if you want. Like, again, it makes it stick to the salad. But perfectly, you can get away without it. I added some soy sauce, just a little bit, and a quarter cup, which is 4 tablespoons, and some sugar and salt and pepper. And here is my dressing. I'm going to bring it over to you. I made a quart because I doubled the recipe. This is a pound of carrots and all my other delicious ingredients, and it's kind of thick. But when you put it over a salad, which I will do right now, I'm going to get a bowl. And that Asian salad that they give you at the sushi restaurant basically is iceberg lettuce that they put in here. A little few grape tomatoes, some cucumber. Have it ready to go, and I'm just going to toss it a little bit. Like mine doesn't have any oil in it, but you can put the oil in. It gives a little bit of a different texture. And I've got this wonderful Asian salad. If I put a little grape tomato and a slice of cucumber and maybe some shredded carrots, you'd be at the sushi restaurant. And again, I'm not showing you how to make this recipe because it's really, really loud in that food processor. But it's no more difficult than what I just told you. It's super, super easy. And it goes a long way. Like I said, I made a quart of it. I literally live alone. So this quart will last me probably 2 to 3 weeks before I use it all up. But it really is so delicious. And you can put it on any salad. Even the earlier salad that we made with the strawberries / mandarin oranges can have this dressing as well. It's just a wonderful, very healthy, lean dressing. Do I have any questions? No?
Yes. There are 2.
Oh, yes. Okay.
How long will the other salad keep? The one that you have right now, you have the fork in.
This one?
Yes.
Probably 3 days.
Okay. And then
Oh, it's so good.
how long will the carrot dressing keep?
About a month.
Okay. And where in Michigan are you?
I'm in Bloomfield Hills, suburb of Detroit, 30 miles north of Detroit.
I believe I've got to check. Someone's commenting that the last recipe is not on the recipe. So we will double check. And if for any reason we're missing that recipe, perhaps we can get that one from you, and then we can email.
Absolutely. But I think it's on there.
Okay. I don't have it open in front of me. Someone just commented.
Oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this food? I'm going to take it over to my mom. She's by herself. And I just spent 2 months with her in Florida cooking every meal for her, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we came back about a week ago, and I haven't cooked for her since. So she's going to get some delicious salads for tonight.
Okay. I think that's it. I'm looking.
Thank you so much for coming, and thanks for supporting Jewish Senior Life. It's one of the many charities I work with, and I'm thrilled that you're all here, and I hope you're all getting ready to have lots of salads coming up.